Welcome to the world of probiotic foods. This is Cultured Food Life with your host, Donna Schwenk.
Welcome, everybody. I am Donna, and welcome to the show today. And I would like to start off today's show talking about you. I think about you guys constantly, all the time. All the people who listen to my show, read my books, visit my website and social media pages, I think about you all day long. And you've become not just a part of my life, but a part of my heart and my family. And no matter where I go or what I do, I'm thinking about how I can help you all the time. And when you heal your body and you start to feel better, it opens up your heart and you want to help everybody feel better. And when I was sick, I didn't really care about other people like I do now because I was just barely surviving. And when you do feel better and you find the answers to the struggles that have plagued you, you really don't want other people to suffer needlessly like you did. And out of my own misery and despair came one of the greatest joys that I think a person can experience. I mean, of all the things in the world, you know, whether it's success or money or whatever you're chasing, love, relationships, if your body's not working right, it kind of tops the scale on all of those things because without a healthy body, you're going to really struggle. And that's one of the things that I have really made it my life's mission to not only feel good myself, but to help others feel that way because it changes everything when you do. So I go about my day, I think about you, people I've never met, but almost feels like I have met you. And that's what happens to you when you feel better. You want everybody else to feel better too because you know it's possible and you know that there's a way. And I make my choices every day based on feelings and emotions. The foods that I eat and the choices I make every day involve so many things. I often think, for instance, when I make lunch, would this lunch be something that people would like? Would it be easy for them to make? Could I take a good picture of it? Would it give them the health benefits they need? I mean, yesterday I was in a stone store, and I was looking for remnants of marble so I could take pictures on it. Just slabs of marbles that I could put in my kitchen so that I could take pictures so that they would look good for my website, my books, my blogs, to make it more appealing for you. I actually had my kitchen table made with this special wood so that I could take pictures on it. It's literally my favorite thing to take pictures on. And if you've been on my website, you'll see it all over the place because it is something I really love. And in this day and age, if you don't have good pictures and you don't have things that look appetizing, people aren't going to be interested because there's too much information out there. There's too much stuff vying for people's attention. And so not only does it need to look good, it needs to taste good, but it needs to be good for you. Those are my 3 criteria. And when you do that, you can change people's lives. It's a wonderful process to go through, to use your life to help others every day. And I do it almost all day long. I'm always thinking about ways to make things better. And I have so many things that I've done where I have my website, I have my 3 books, I have videos, I have YouTube, I have Facebook. I've made a membership site. I've put blogs out. I've put helps. I've done everything. I'm thinking of everything I can think of to help you. Because if I don't make it easy, you won't do it. Because that was the way it was for me. I was really sick. And if this had not been easy to do, I wouldn't have done it. I just didn't feel good, so I didn't have any energy. And a lot of people make the process of culturing foods very complicated, and it isn't. It isn't complicated. I make it really simple. I've gotten rid of all of the things that people tell you have to do. People say you have to use an airlock jar to make vegetables. That's not true. They've been making vegetables for thousands of years without airlock vessels and reaping the benefits. It was the way people preserved their foods and made it safe. People will tell you that you can only drink so much kefir, or that you have to ferment it with a cloth and rubber band, or that you have to ferment it for 3 days. And they, tell you you've got to have these special jars and you've got to pound your cabbage to make cultured vegetables. And all of these things are just, well, I've done it for 18 years. So I know what works. I know what doesn't work. And I take all of that stuff out and make it as simple as possible for you so that you will do it. Because that's what I was looking for when I was sick. And when I found you could make kefir in 24 hours, that you could just put it in a jar, put culture in it, put a lid on it, sat it on your counter, and the next day you had kefir. You didn't have to have a machine. You didn't have to have something to heat it up. The kefir did that itself by having so many good bacteria in it that it actually makes a little bit of heat in the jar itself as it ferments and naturally cultures the food. And all of these foods I've made easily for you. And everything's available on my website at culturedfoodlife.com. There's a little smiley button at the top that says Start Here. If you click that, it shows you how to do everything. And it's just been my mission in life to help you do it and to do it easily and to take the scariness factor out of it. These foods are some of the safest foods to eat and make. The good bacteria dominates, keeps the food safe, keeps out pathogens, and preserves your food and for many, many months in your fridge. And it makes it safe because the pathogens can't get in because there's so much good bacteria. And that's what I love about these foods. They're easy to make. They cost pennies to make because you're not having to spend a fortune. You're just really buying food. If you have a culture, like kefir grains and kombucha will last your lifetime. And like with cultured vegetables, if you have a starter culture, you can use the brine from the first batch to make the next batch. So it's very, very affordable. And they can last forever if you take care of them. I've had mine for over 18 years. And they keep working because they keep growing and multiplying. And it's a wonderful way to help people feel better. And when you make choices, they are some of the most important things that you will do in your life. And I have a quote in my book, The Cultured Food for Health. I put this quote in my book. It's our choices that show who we truly are far more than our abilities. And that was said by Albus Dumbledore in Harry Potter. And I remember when I saw that movie, I saw that line and I was like, that's the truth. Our choices show more about who we are than our abilities. And choices can find you, and not just the big ones, but the little ones we make every day. Without the choices I make every day when I was sick and struggling, my determination to seek wellness, and it was important. If I hadn't have done that, about changing everything just little by little, I wouldn't be here today. And those small choices I made, and the very first choice I made was just to make kefir every day for breakfast. That was just my first choice. I was going to make a cup of kefir every day for breakfast. And that one choice changed my whole life. My thoughts about wellness and all of those desires to be well changed my life that led to bigger choices. And those choices have included hundreds of thousands of people. And it is so exciting. One of the first choices I made to change my life was adding kefir. And I know I talk about that a lot. I love kefir. It was the one that changed me the most. It was the first food I tried. But there are other cultured foods that I love too. And they are teeming with living, healthy microbes that are here to assist you in this life. These foods have been around forever. And the type of food preservation, it really predates written history and probably predates human history because bacteria was here long before we were. And it's the most complex life form on this planet. And it's one of the oldest and safest methods of food preservation today. And I love that it restores and heals my gut and my immune system, helps my immune system to function well, and it tastes delicious. And I am not the only one who loves these cultured foods, whether it's kefir, kombucha, cultured vegetables, water kefir, sourdough breads, sprouted breads, ginger bugs, which make ginger sodas, fermented garlics. I mean, I'm not the only one who loves these. And in Korea, they have made a special food called kimchi that I'm sure you've heard about. And it's their national food. And it's celebrated and eaten every day. And they even have special refrigerators to keep their kimchi in. That they sell these little tiny refrigerators in Korea because it's such a big deal. And when the bird flu epidemic hit Asia in 1997, this powerful probiotic cultured food grew to become a superstar in the Korean cuisine. It really protected the entire country from the deadly flu virus. And here's why. A team of researchers led by Professor Kang Sawak of the School of Biological Science in Seoul National University had found a lactic acid bacteria, extracted from kimchi to be effective against the avian influenza or the bird flu virus and other viral diseases affecting poultry. And they did this experiment. They extracted this bacteria from the kimchi, from the vegetables, and they experimented on a group of 13 chickens that had been infected with the bird flu. The first group was only given water, and the other two groups were given either a concentrated or a diluted culture fluid of kimchi. 1 week later, all the chickens in the first group died. They were the ones that was given water. But 11 chickens in each of the second and the third groups survived, and all of them showed signs of recovery. In addition, the chickens in the second group fed with the concentrated culture fluid not only recovered fully, but also showed a robust gain in weight from the weight they'd lost, and diarrhea symptoms completely ceased. What they said was, we found that these chickens recovered from the bird flu, Newcastle disease, and bronchitis. I'm not sure what Newcastle disease was, but I guess they had it. The birds' death rate fell. They were livelier and their stools became normal, said Professor Kang. And the previous research had already proven that antibacterial power kimchi had, but recent research has found it to be effective in curing many viral diseases in poultry. And here's the cool thing. Kimchi was credited with protecting South Korea from the bird flu, since most Koreans ate 70 pounds of kimchi a year. Neighboring countries that don't consume kimchi, like China and Japan, were not as fortunate, and they were right next to them, but they didn't consume it. They had many, many, many cases of bird flu, while South Korea had no confirmed cases, and they were right in the middle. Their country's right in the middle of all those other countries. And that was very exciting to me because I have seen that happen in my own family and in my own life. We have used not just kimchi, but any cultured vegetable to fight influenza or flu viruses or anything like that. That's one thing that we really use as a remedy, a food like medicine, to help us not only prevent us from getting the flu, but if we do get it, to help us recover fast. And kimchi originated during ancient times when vegetables were preserved in salt for the purpose of lasting long, cold winters. And they were often buried in the ground. And today there are more than 100 types of kimchi. And the materials and length of fermentation is very unique to Korea. They do things differently, but there's many, many methods and many ways to do it. Kimchi contains more lactic acid bacteria than yogurt, which promotes healthy microintestinal flora. And kimchi is already known to have antibacterial qualities, but this was really the first time kimchi's effectiveness in curing viral diseases has been proven. And this was said by the researchers too, not just me saying this. And so now what's happened is the research teams have planned to distribute the kimchi culture fluid to poultry farms across the nation with permission from the National Veterinarian's Research and Quarantine Service after conducting more and more extensive research. And it's exciting to me because now there's a lot of research now about, they've also helped cure sepsis in infants that die, and many of the third world countries are dying from this, and they're using this type of a fluid. They found that not only does it help the babies recover from sepsis, which is deadly in babies, but it also helps the lungs get better, the respiratory problems get better, which they didn't think would happen because the lung is a distant organ, and it compared to where the sepsis is in the body, and the babies are recovering and getting better, and it's helping them in other areas too. And it's saved thousands and thousands of babies from sepsis, which is a really scary bacterial infection that can kill a lot of babies. And I have an article on that. I think I have another podcast about that on bird flu in babies that you might want to check out if you want more information on that. And it's one of the things that I love to talk about with cultured foods because it's just food. And one of the special things about kimchi, and it doesn't have to be just kimchi. Kimchi's wonderful. It has spices, and it can be super spicy or it can be mild. And it's made with cabbage, and it's made with carrots and green onions. And they have a special Korean chili spice that you put in to make it spicier. You can leave that out and just put in different spices. They use a daikon radish. Let's see, what else is in there? Ginger can be in there, garlic, but it just depends on how you make it. I have several recipes on my website and in my books. I even have a Spanish kimchi that I absolutely love. I have a video on that on YouTube if you want to check that out, because that's a great recipe for you to make. But whatever the case, these cultured vegetables have this special bacteria called Lactobacillus plantarum, which is very, very, very powerful. And it's abundant in these vegetables. But the thing about it is that this doesn't last very long in the body. It's a transient bacteria, so it only stays in the body for a few days. It doesn't become a permanent resident. So one of the things that is very helpful is for you to eat it every day or every couple of days or 2 or 3 times a week. And you just need a spoonful. You don't need tons and tons, although it is quite delicious. I had a bowl yesterday. That's kind of my afternoon pickup, because one of the wonderful things about cultured vegetables, especially ones that are made with cabbage, is that they're loaded with vitamin C. So in the afternoon, I tend to have a little bowl of them because it's kind of a pickup for me. It gives me a lot of energy. It floods my body with vitamin C and other nutrients and other vitamins. And it's just a wonderful little snack that really fills you up, keeps you from being hungry, and it's easy. It's just in my fridge all the time. Cultured veggies can stay preserved in your fridge for like 9 months. They kind of age like a fine wine, and the good bacteria in there dominate, keep the pathogens out, and they just keep them perfectly preserved. And that's one of the things I love. Now, they don't really last 9 months because I eat them before that, but I have had them do that. I have tested them, and boy, they taste good. It's a wonderful thing to have. It's not something you have to make all the time. If you want to make a big jug of it, keep your fridge, it'll last a long time, and then you don't have to make it as often. Although I like to make smaller jars because I like different recipes. So right now I think I have, hang on, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I have 6 different types of cultured vegetable, maybe 7. Yes, 7 in my fridge right now because I like the variety. I have Spanish kimchi. I have Shelley's cultured vegetables. I have blueberry kraut. I have buffalo kraut. I have cultured carrots. I have cultured celery. And then I have my regular kimchi that's in there too, besides the Spanish kimchi. So I always have them in because I like variety. I like them on different foods. And for instance, my husband likes them in the morning. What he does is he takes my sourdough toast. He either puts, he usually puts goat cheese on it or just some kind of cheese, something that he likes. And then he puts kimchi. He toasts the bread, and then he puts kimchi on the top. Guys, it is delicious. Or Shelley's cultured vegetables, he'll do that too. That is such a good breakfast. I can't tell you how good that is, especially with kimchi. The other thing we'll do is we'll mix kefir cheese and cultured vegetables together. Like we'll take a cup of kefir cheese and then a couple spoonfuls of any kind of cultured vegetable, mix it together, and it turns into like the best dip like ever. We serve this at my classes, and people literally go nuts for it. And it's super simple to make. And it's delicious. It tastes wonderful. And it's, we can serve it with vegetables or chips or whatever people like. But it is a fantastic way to get cultured vegetables into your kids, your family, or people who are picky eaters. And I took this to the lake one time. We used to go down to the lake every weekend, and we had a lot of friends down there at the lake, and I would bring a bowl of this. And one guy could not stop eating it. And I said, you need to slow down on that. That is a lot of good bacteria. He ate cups and cups of that. And goodness gracious, the next day he was getting cleaned out. He goes, you weren't kidding. I said, yeah, you had a lot. So in the beginning, it's kind of good to slow down a little bit. But boy, is it tasty. And people absolutely love it. The other way I love to have cultured vegetables is I love to make a grilled cheese for my kids and my family. You make a panini or a grilled cheese, and you put kimchi in the middle between the 2 slices of bread on the other sides of the cheese. And I'm telling you guys, you got to try it. I know it sounds weird, but you got to trust me on this. Everybody who has it absolutely loves it. And I started seeing this popping up in restaurants and stuff. They're starting to do this in restaurants because the flavor is incredibly good. And you can make any kind of sandwich and put kimchi in it, but the fact that it's grilled and it's in between 2 pieces, it kind of preserves the vegetables from getting too hot. So you still get the benefits and the probiotics from it, but it really makes it a delicious treat for you for a sandwich for an afternoon snack. I love it. It's crazy good. And it's also really good for like sinuses, like especially kimchi. If you have any kind of sinus problems, I really highly recommend that you try kimchi or cultured vegetables because it's really a powerful antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial vegetable. And what it does is it will kill pathogens in the body, and it does it quite swiftly. And especially anything that is, fungal in nature, it helps remove that too, which can often be the cause of many, many sinus problems. They can often be related to candida. And so I have seen time and time again how wonderful kimchi is. Okay, and I think I said this on another show, but I had a lady tell me one time that she was really struggling with a 6-month-long sinus infection. So she dipped a Q-tip in some of her kimchi and swabbed the inside of her nose. And she said it got rid of her sinus infection. Okay, now I've actually tried this one time when I had a cold, and it actually works. It like makes your nose run like crazy, and it cleared my sinuses out. I was shocked how well it did. And so she was right. So I've had several other people tell me the same thing. Sounds crazy, but when you think about it, you're 100 trillion bacteria, and there are viruses and pathogens in your body that can be eliminated with powerful probiotic bacteria that are there to assist you and to keep you healthy. I don't put anything past these cultures that I use in my foods. They can do amazing things that I literally blows my mind. I've got a new blog coming up this week on breast cancer and kraut that you really need to check out. It's going to be, this will probably have been out by the time this broadcast airs. So it will have been this September, I think the 1st it comes out. You got to really check it out. It's pretty powerful. There's lots of research on it. It's such a wonderful food. These cultured vegetables, they're doing so much to help everything from babies to chickens to people with breast cancer to people who have colds and flus and viral infections. Guys, it's just a powerful food, and it's delicious. It's easy to make. It doesn't have the side effects that drugs do because it's just food. And when we use food to help us strengthen our bodies and to understand how they make the cells of our body and what a powerful way they are to help us live a happy life, you keep doing it because it makes all the difference. That's why I keep eating these foods, guys. It's just because without them, I'm kind of a wreck. I don't feel good. I have mood swings. I get insulin problems and diabetes. I have all these problems. But with these foods, with the conscious choices that I make every day, that has just become a lifestyle. And it's become so easy for me. And I enjoy it, and I love it, and it's fun for me. It's changed everything for me, and I want that for you. And if you have any time in October, I am doing a class in Carlsbad, California, which is absolutely beautiful, by the way. It's like 5 minutes from the beach and 5 minutes from Legoland and about a million other attractions. And I'm doing a class at the Green Dragon in Carlsbad, California. And oh, wow, it's going to be so wonderful. We're serving a beautiful lunch, a gourmet lunch, but everybody's going to get to make a jar of these cultured vegetables. I'm so excited about it. Everybody's going to have a jar that they're going to make, and then they're going to take home, and then I'm going to teach them how to make kefir, kombucha. We're going to talk about sprouted grains and sourdough. We're going to talk about water kefir. We're going to go the gamut. We're going to talk about all these cultured foods. And guys, there is nothing as life-changing as going to a class because I get so excited about it. It's pretty hard for me not to convince you because I've lived this. I'm not somebody who's just doing this because it's a good idea. I've lived this. I love it. I believe in it. It's changed my life, and I've seen it change hundreds of thousands of other people. And I would love to meet you. If not, you can still go to my website and find everything you need at culturedfoodlife.com. But I would love to see you there because it's going to be an exciting time. And I love to meet the people that I think about every day. There's nothing like meeting and putting a name to a face. And that's thrilling to me. But once again, I appreciate you listening to my podcast. I hope that they will help change your life. They've made such a difference in my life, guys. They've made me happy. They've made me whole. They've made me well. These wonderful foods that have changed my life in so many ways, emotionally, physically, even spiritually. They've done so much for me. And I'm just sharing my heart with you in hopes that they will do the same for you. Have a wonderful week, guys, and maybe get some kimchi this week. It could really change everything.